2017-18. Senator Patrick.
Thank you, Chair.
Of this.
Oh, you can? Yes.
Thank you very much, if you don't mind, Senator. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to make a short opening statement, Chair. I just want to update you on three topical areas before we move to questions. The first
doesn't
is on
include the word drones, does it?
The first is on RPAS, your favourite topic, Senator. We continue to make a lot of progress in that space. An important element of our work is finalising the ministerial review into RPAS, which we undertook to share with the committee. And you might recall when we met with you in December, I said that we had a lot of activities underway, but we expected to complete the review by March. I'm pleased to advise that I've seen a well-developed draft, and I hope to have the review to the department for comment and then to the minister in the next couple of weeks. I also undertook to seek the minister's approval to share this review with the committee, which I will do.
Separate to this forum.
Yeah, yep. Separate. So it'll hopefully inform your review, which was what I thought you were after. We currently have quite a large workload in our branch. It includes that review. It includes a regulatory roadmap. It includes managing the growth in the sector, which is quite enormous, enforcement activities and complaints, and planning for the inevitable need to fully and safely integrate drones into the Australian aviation system. One of the ways we're doing this is working with Google Wings, locally here in the ACT, on safe and efficient commercial use of drones in our airspace. This is Google Wings' lead site globally for trialling this activity in airspace. We might get the opportunity too to deal with a couple of the questions that Senator Gallagher raised earlier tonight on drones as well, if you wish. Falcon Air is my second topic, Senator, I wanted to mention briefly. I've got a number of concerns about the article mentioned in the Australian newspaper on the 3rd of January, and as I know the committee does as well. I'm concerned about what the article said, but I'm also concerned about what the article didn't say, and I look forward to answering questions during this hearing. That said, it's important to make a couple of points just to set the scene. Firstly, contrary to the article, CASA did not ground Falcon Air. CASA had identified a number of Falcon Air pilots who were either not current or had not been validly checked, and if those pilots continued to fly, they would be in breach of both their own operations manual and the provisions of the civil aviation regulations. So Falcon Air management chose, quite sensibly, not to operate with those pilots. Secondly, CASA discovered competency had lapsed on 8 out of 9 of Falcon Air's pilots, as they were either not validly checked or not current. This was not, as one so-called aviation expert was quoted to have said, sheer absolute bastardry. These were egregious breaches and show clearly that their check and training system was busted. It's broken. Both the chief pilot and the 2 senior check pilots were not current. I have no tolerance for this, considering they're flying high-performance jets, often with passengers on board. An effective check and training regime is fundamental to aviation safety. It ensures pilots not only maintain their competency in normal flight sequences, but are well prepared and proficient to deal with abnormal and emergency situations. Third, Falcon Air asked repeatedly that we simply overlook the various breaches of regulations and the safety risks these posed simply by exempting them from the requirement to comply with the law. Let me be absolutely clear here. The final decision not to allow this was mine. As Australia's Director of Aviation Safety, I formed the view that pending a closer examination of the systematic problems that allowed this situation to arise, it was unsafe to allow the pilots involved to conduct Falcon Air flights without meeting their proficiency requirements. Fourth, the Australian article referred to a heart transplant flight that Falcon Air was supposedly unable to conduct, a flight which we were advised of some 5 days after the event. The committee might be interested to know that there are up to 10 providers on the East Coast who are capable of providing this service. Falcon Air doesn't hold a monopoly in that area either. CASA also reminded Falcon Air that they could enact mercy flight options if lives were truly at risk. Fifth and finally, what the article did not say was that given my particular concerns with regard to the availability of medical flights over the Christmas period, on the 21st of December, as Director of Aviation Safety, I signed an exemption to allow their Falcon 50, Falcon Air's most capable aircraft, to operate over the Christmas period. Having taken the relevant safety-related considerations into account and identifying the pilots with the least significant shortfalls in their proficiency obligations, I was satisfied that an exemption could be granted, allowing this important service to continue over the Christmas period. Let me make this clear, this was not taken lightly. The committee would well understand the consequences if something had gone wrong on one of those flights. In the event, I'm sure I would be here today explaining why I allowed the operator to continue operating that way, given the findings we'd made. We continue to work with Falcon Air to ensure their training and checking obligations are maintained. Senators, to finish on a more positive note, in November last year we announced major changes to how we will manage medicals in the future. This includes extending the delegation to make certain medical decisions to medical professionals, allowing non-passenger carrying commercial operations to be conducted by air transport pilots holding full Class 2 medical certificates, and creating a new category of private pilot medical certificates, the basic Class 2. I'll be announcing tomorrow our planned rollout of these well-anticipated reforms, which will open up pathways for our most experienced pilots to return to limited commercial activities such as flying training and aerial application activities like crop dusting. These changes will start to take effect as early as this week. Mr. Chairman, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr.